all he sees is just this hellish landscape.
Okay.
Like it's like grotesque. Like there are like intestines.
America. I'm sorry, I'm gonna get killed.
Today, I'm going to be reacting to foreigners' takes on the United States. Because my dad is British, but I grew up here in America, I feel like I might have a unique take on their reactions because I kind of understand at least the UK or British culture. I feel like I have a little bit better ability to see America kind of from a bird's eye
Oh, I remember I had to take Aki to the hospital once. Like this was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I think she like squirted like shampoo like directly into her
Oh
eye.
yeah, I remember that.
And
yeah.
she was like, I can't see. I think I've gone blind. So I had to call up the hospital, obviously get an ambulance over and everything. And the entire ride, she was such an American mindset. The entire ride to the hospital, she's like, oh my God, this is going to be so expensive, isn't it? Like this thing's going to be so... And I'm just like, don't worry about it. We'll just fix your...
Ambulances in America are so expensive. Like the healthcare system is just messed up here. But it's so true. It's what people think about. I know people who literally like... Well, I don't know them personally, but I know it's a thing that people take like Ubers to the hospital instead of ambulances. Oh yeah.
She's thinking in the American mentality, right? And I had never really gone to a Japanese hospital before, so I had no idea either. I was like, oh shit, is it the same? And we looked at it and she's like, wait, ambulances are free?
Yeah.
Because in America, you have to pay like $200-300 to get a fucking ambulance.
$200 or $300, Joey. It's like $2 to $5 grand for an ambulance ride. The fact that it's free in Japan, that blows my mind. Like I don't even know I don't understand how they do that.
Yeah,
I think it's more. I think it's like 1,000 plus.
Something like that. Like
Yeah.
I've heard stories of like a couple of my American friends who like broke their arm, for example, and they're like, call an Uber.
Yeah.
It's like, because we're not paying for a fucking ambulance. So
Literally.
we're just going to call an Uber with like your arm hanging off a thread.
Yeah. What some Americans do, which is like buying a McFlurry and then just dipping it with fries.
Okay,
which
but
just
actually-
Fire though. That is so fire.
Aki took me to a Steak and Shake once, which is where like the optimal place of where you do that. And I just saw like 6 American.
No, Steak and Shake sucks. If you're a foreigner, do not go to Steak and Shake. It's so bad. We used to call it sit and shit because it's so bad.
Gauge like the tastiness of a fast food joint by how much their stomach is just destroyed the next.
We go to Taco Bell, we're like, wreck me, please.
Day.
You know what?
Like people are like, oh yeah, it's not a good Chili's meal unless I'm shitting myself constantly the next day.
I remember when I was staying at Sydney's like family's house in Wisconsin. And they got like a takeaway pizza joint one day.
Yeah.
And one of the big selling points of this like takeaway pizza joint is they had like garlic bread. And the selling point was that if you put like a paper towel on the garlic bread, it would literally soak it in oil.
So, I only do one to make it a little more efficient on material.
Yeah, I love it.
After a week of staying in
I want
America,
to go home.
I'm like, is there a salad? Is there a salad? And I asked for the salad, and what comes out is a fucking forest. You know what I mean?
I go to the next aisle. There's a whole aisle. This blew my mind of hot dogs.
Well, aren't hot dogs one of the few foods that are actually full on like made in America? Well, the ingredients aren't made in America, but like it was like the birthplace of hot dog was America. That's what I was told growing up. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's why maybe we're just proud of our hot dogs.
I turn like American for like 5 seconds. I'm like, free speech, stand. Where's
Well,
my
it's like it's in Texas.
This is the one thing I hate about cinemas in the US is that they love to fucking commentate on what's happening in the movie out loud.
I cannot.
Okay, that's not common though, Joey. Like most people do not talk during movies. I mean, you might say something to like your person next to you, but that's it.
Not needing to flag down the server.
That's lovely.
Oh, that's amazing. They just arrive at your table and start chatting to you.
They're just attentive, most of them.
Not in the UK, guys.
No.
Maybe that's a benefit to tipping culture. I'm not saying tipping culture is right. I'm not saying it's right, but I ain't saying it's always wrong. Maybe because we have a tipping culture, there's more of that attentiveness from a server. I'm just saying.
Well, the government needs to put in the legislation to be like, you have to pay your servers more than $10 an hour.
$10 an hour is generous, my dude. They get paid like $1.70 an hour and then tips on top of that. And this was in like a year ago. Like this isn't even that far off. Like this was years and years ago. Like no, they get paid $1.70 an hour and then the rest of it they're working on tips. It's fucking bonkers out there.
Okay, the next one's quite confusing. I haven't got my head around all of these. The words freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior.
Yeah. Americans use them just like so quickly.
Yeah.
As if it's so normal. No one else anywhere in the world uses these words. So it's it's very confusing.
I have high school, which is 9th grade to 12th grade. Like I didn't barely even like know the numbers because we always just call them freshman through senior. So 9th grade is freshman year, 10th grade is sophomore year, 11th grade is junior year, and then 12th grade is senior year. And then in college, same things. College, university, it's interchange. And in college or university, you would say, instead of like grade numbers, you would say freshman in college, sophomore in college, junior in college, senior in college. Yeah, weird terminology.
Weirdly, I think Americans don't get offended if we mistake them as Canadians, but Canadians get very offended if we mistake them for Americans.
It's because we know Canada's better. We know Canada's better. I would much rather be considered a Canadian than an American sometimes.
Maybe she needs a job over here.
Yeah, she'd fit in the UK.
Get her to East London right now.
I feel like if that happened to you in the UK, you would have then laughed and been like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
But because it happened in America, the land of the polite,
We're the land of the polite?
The woman was too stunned to speak.
Who, when, where, how? I've never heard Americans described as polite.